Salakia, I don't know where I stopped at. You know, like I said, I really need to check into this. I thought I literally made it where the screen stays on longer. I'm about to do it again. I think I put it on 2 minutes. But long story short, I think I stopped at. I can't even recall. I was like I said, I was going into the Elder Monakta Zakba from South Carolina. I got the idea to do the lesson on this because he said he was going to do a lesson on it. But basically, so I want to give him credit because, like I said, the spirit wouldn't have jumped on me to do the video without watching his channel. And like I said, he does the little news segments, and I just really got hip to him, and they're excellent. And if you're not familiar with him, I suggest you check him out. Like I said again, I think it's one of his pages is Bible Teacher South Carolina S or Bible Teacher SC7, I think. I know he said his pages were getting messed with. Esau persecuting him again. Like I said, we all go through certain things. It's frustrating, but it's all the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I made mention of the elder Amawan Gabar and how he literally had a video taken down, but then he appealed it, and Yahweh Shem Yahushua made Esau put it back up. So at the end of the day, like I brought up the account in Acts about how Gamaliel, the one Pharisee, the doctor, the master of the law, the teacher that Paul learned from, basically said, let these men alone, roughly paraphrase. He said, because at the end of the day, he said, if this was of the will of man, it would be brought to naught. But if it was the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you can't do nothing to stop it. So again, like I said, showing you that this truth is going to ring true throughout the four corners of the earth, and then the end shall come. And we watching the end manifest right now. But you pretty much seen the video, you know what I mean? I might read a few little snippets out of it, but it made me think of a scripture. And this is out of the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5. Chapter 5, I'm going to begin at verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, when you go into the word tokens, it basically breaks down to the signs. Behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. And you're seeing that right now. This is so cold of a prophecy because if you really sit back and meditate and look at the world, state of the world, literally, you see that. Truth being hidden. They taking down our pages. They taking down even Esau, because it tells you in the book of Psalms, chapter 64, about how the tongue shall fall upon themselves, meaning they're going to tell them own selves. You're going to have Edomites telling and exposing Esau. We watching that now. Truth is being hidden. Like I said, they'll put some shit up with Lil Nas having sex with the so-called devil, a little midget Jake, but they won't, be allowed some truth. It's funny. Like the elder, I was listening to the elder. Elder was like, it's coming out to show you how cold the Lord is. It's coming out that Fauci was lying and covering up and hiding shit. Now, yet and still, YouTube took down our videos, talk about medical misinformation and yada, 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 and we conspiracy nuts. But yet and still, now it comes out he been lying. You get what I'm saying? So these people about to eat each other. You know what I mean? But it tells you in the book of Nahum, in chapter 3, it talks about the city of lies, roughly paraphrased. When you go into the foundation of America, you got people really believe that it was built on biblical principles, but in actuality, it wasn't. You know what I mean? That was the farce. That's what, because when you go into all the founding fathers, they all, for the most part, were Masons. I don't think it was not man president that wasn't a Mason. Showing you what the true foundation of this place is. When you go into history, go look at books like The New Republic by Plato and all that. Like they all wanted a place where they could be feeling like God-like. The new Atlantis, you know what I mean? Because you had these elites want to really be worshipped as like godheads. I was listening to, I forgot who I was listening to. I want to say it was the elder Yashawamba from Dallas, and he was saying how when you take the time to think about it, you got these food shortages. When has it ever been you can hack through a system and now that just fucks up the meat supply? It fucks up the gas supply. I can see the gas to a certain extent, but now, I mean, everything is digital. Don't get me wrong, but basically now you're getting all this cyber attacks. And if you wasn't aware, like that dude Klaus Schwab that wrote that book, The Fourth Industrial Revolution, that's going into what they about to do, that who it is a elitist, that who is a part of, trying to bring in fruition this new world order. He literally said that it was going to be a bunch of cyber attacks. So I was just thinking while I was at, the plantation, I'm like, damn, when you take the time to think about it, if they keep on doing these cyber attacks, because if the cyber attack affected the gas, what else did it affect? It affected a few different things. And now it's affecting the meat on major scales. Then who's to say they ain't going to affect the bank accounts? That's why I suggest you not keep a lot of money in the bank. You know what I mean? I'm about to start taking, like real talk. The spirit jumped on me to say that shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't saying don't leave nothing in there because like the elder said, you should have some money, physical money in your pocket. You should have some actual real money, some silver or gold, and you should actually have some money in the bank. But don't leave like all your money in the bank, because I remember, and I always stated this, but I caught myself doing it a couple of times. At the end of the day, I remember when they had that last blackout in Cleveland. That was like what, 2013? No, that was what year was it? Yeah, that was about 2013, right? Because I was working at the convention center, and literally you couldn't use no food stamps. It was basically the grid was down. You couldn't use no food stamps. You couldn't use no credit cards. We had the casino there, and it was a Jake that I always see for whatever reason. The Lord always had me run into this man's path. His name was Thaddeus. I met him in a shelter. Then I would see him when he got up out the shelter. I would always just see this guy, and I never dawned on me to this exact moment. I mean, I wasn't into the truth like that, but I did see him after the fact when I was in the truth, and maybe that was the whole reason why I used to keep seeing him. Either he was an angel, or I was supposed to tell him the truth. But the point being, he made us aware of it. He's like, so look at all the people. And we happened to look, and it was like 50 people standing in front of the casino. And he like, yeah. He was like, I know for a fact. He was like, yeah, they won't let you use your credit card. He's like, I know for a fact because I tried to use mine. I was like, wow. You know what I mean? And earlier that day, you couldn't use no food stamps. These motherfuckers were so desperate. They up there like, okay, if you pay with cash, we'll reimburse you it on your food stamp card. And I'm like, how the fuck they gonna do that? So yeah, you know what I mean? So, it's called a bank run. They could just seize all the money and you can't get access to the money. You know what I mean? People telling me about how they got gold. Well, you only could buy so much gold and so much of a quantity. So, like, you got people that invest in gold and supposed to own gold, but they don't physically have it in their possession, which is one of the dumbest things ever. It says, Salakia, not to digress, verse 2, but iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. So, like I said, the reason why Jacob's trouble is going to be so horrific, the judgment that's coming to this place is going to be more horrific than the judgments that, if you actually sit and read the Bible, you'll realize the Lord is called the King of Terrors for a reason. But if this time in history is going to be way worse than any other time, that's why so many people on the planet. There's never been this many people on the planet in history. So what do you think that is for? For what purpose? For the judgment that's about to befall this place. They literally systematically making a man-made famine in our face. You talk about in a society where nobody gives a fuck about themselves. Nobody else but themselves or their loved ones. How do you think this is about to play out? Why do you think it's so important? And a gun ain't gonna be able to save you or no shit like that. I don't give a fuck how come. You got the guys like Black Rambo and that one guy that's got all the tattoos on his face that he be promoting about getting money and whatnot. But the brother from Men of Valor, Salakia for the digression, but because there's so much going on now. You know what I mean? Like I was doing a series and I'm like waiting for the Lord to, when the Lord changed the spirit for me to go back doing, because I'd rather do videos like this, filtering, news through the scriptures. But every once in a while, I will do a series when the Lord put spirit on me. And just so happened, like I get like 3 videos. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so the Lord must want me to speak on these as opposed to doing that series. But It's just constantly something going on. And like I said, I can't think of Puff Daddy, he literally did a video. All these jakes is all into the memorial of Black Wall Street. If it didn't work, not understanding that, you was sent to America, you're here in existence to serve out a punishment, not to prosper. You know what I mean? And the craziest part is, like, Puffy usually wear glasses, them shades. He didn't have no shades on it. So he was sincere about what he believed, but he was like, you need money for all things. He made the statement. He made the most blasphemous statement. He said, basically, you got people waiting on somebody to come back to save them that ain't going to come back to save them. The Lord got a specific judgment for this homosexual. Because you could tell, it's enough evidence. A manly man, a real man is not going to be all like hugged up with fucking men and shit like that. Like, that's and a person get offended by it. At a certain age, you're supposed to stop kissing your boy child. You know what I mean? I remember my brother told me that, and he was a nigga. He was like, after the age of 2 or 3, I ain't kissing this little boy like that, right? You know what I mean? Like, the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, a boy's supposed to be little, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I said, this weird ass play. The old school brother that's come to our camp that actually stands on the other side. He was saying that. He said, take the idea of pansexualism. Like, who came up with that shit? You know what I mean? Like, this is the bugged out place we live in. You just a pan, and then they introduce it into the shows and the TVs. Like, when you go into Deadpool, I used to read that comic book. I watched his development from the character because he wasn't like a silly character. He used to be just a hitman, a very dangerous hitman. Then somebody got a hold to the storyline and the character, and they wrote out a story and made him silly, and it became popular. But when they made the movie, which did well for Marvel, he was a pansexual. Do you know a pansexual will fuck anything? They'll have sex with. They were trying to say Miley Cyrus is a pansexual. These terms they pushing onto people, and these people have influence. And then you're gonna have some dumbass person out there like, well, maybe I'm a pansexual. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck. That's why these entertainers gonna have a lot to pay for. It says, verse 3, and the land that thou seest now to have root shall thou seest wasted suddenly. And you about to see America. You seeing America falling now. People get offended by that shit. But so what? Take it up with the Most High, because that's who's doing it. You know what I mean? Don't strike the messenger. Don't, Leonidas struck the messenger. But nonetheless, it's the truth. People, and I was listening to Brother Bukora Muff. He was saying, like, he was going into, I put the video in the group chat because it was a beautiful video. He was saying how he said it was a land back, or basically the spirit jumped on him after a video he watched the Apostle of Ramla, the elder Apostle of Ramla. And basically he was going into all the different accounts of, in a time of need, the Most High took care of his servants. And he was saying how, like, Daniel, when Daniel was at the lion's den, you don't think the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua could have rescued Daniel then? But what's the purpose of that? You got to remember, the Most High wants to take the small number of people to literally defeat a huge number of people, showing you his power. When you go into the story of Gideon, not the story, the account of Gideon, with the 300, it was way more than 300 at first, but then he was like, well, if this man do this, don't let them go. If this man do that. So it went from this number of people to a small amount of number of people that was all in the spirit. And that shows Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua's power. That's why it tells you he uses the weak thing of the earth, the weak things of the earth to confound the strong. You about to see this place that they call or consider so great, really be shown for the harlot that it is. You know what I mean? And this place will never be made great again. Like I say, at the end of the day, for you to have to pass a $6 billion, a $6 trillion budget, it's never been a budget that big in history. Showing you what, wait till inflation kick in. Why do you think they got fences around the White House? Why do you think they got that? Because eventually, just like how the Edomites stroll through the White House to try to take that bitch over there, wait till shit get bad out here. You don't think they gonna try? Verse 4, because it ain't really bad yet. I mean, they used to the Jake on Jake crime. Wait till it's like off of a movie. You know what I'm saying? Wait till it's like the book of Eli for real. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. Verse 5, and the blood shall drop out of the wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled. I'm gonna skip to the point because I didn't mean to make this too long. Because the point is about these monstrous children, and they looked like Esau. You know what I mean? I can't say who they was, but the point being, they looked like Esau. There shall be a confusion also, and this is 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be off sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. And the elder was going into that. Don't be surprised. I mean, we already see deer and whatnot in the city. You know what I mean? You already see it. I remember when I was homeless, I saw I used to have to sleep at the rapid sometimes, or I would go jump on the rapid just to get out of the little spot because I had a couple of little bandos I used to stay at. And to get out of there, one was right near the rapid station, so I go in the rapid station. One day, something just told me to look to my left. I looked to my left, and this motherfucker it's a wolf, but it's not a wolf because wolves are a lot leaner and longer. Coyotes and wolves look very, very similar. The only difference between a coyote and a wolf is a lot leaner, a lot bigger, a lot taller. So it looks just like a wolf, but it's a coyote. And I used to run into people that tell me, like, I'll be walking down this cut in the alley and a big-ass coyote. A coyote will fuck you up. That's a wild beast. But it's in a usually you ain't going to see coyotes in urban areas. But when you seeing all these deers, what do you think? If you see a deer, you're going to see, you got bears in Ohio. Did you know that? You got wolves, bears. We got all. Look at the terrain. Look at the region. Look at the area, how it's made. You gotta remember, Gad used to be in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? I remember the brothers in LA was talking about how you have mountain lions that's normally solitary animals that usually hunt by themselves, run around in packs. That's the Most High putting the spirit on them to do that. Because it talks about the teeth of wild beasts in the scriptures. It says, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. These two little fucking Edomites, or they could have been Jake, but I doubt it. You know what I mean? They show you off the drill. They use an Esau's blessing. They come with the good. So about against their own kind. Call Haloyim La Yahweh Shem Yahshua. And wish you would have put the spirit on them to motherfucking shoot one of them. Let them shoot each other out. Like, for real. Because at the end of the day, it's funny. You got Jakes that just got shot last year and they didn't even have a fucking gun. Some kind of way this Edomite child still lived and she was shooting at him. I got one last scripture. 2 Ezra chapter 15. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's kind of showing you that now. It tells you in the book of Isaiah chapter 19 about the Egyptians shall fight against the Egyptian. Well, you just saw that. You had an Edomite, a boy and a girl fighting against, because there was Edomites that shot them. There was Edomite police officers. You never even heard of that little small ass hick town in Florida. And then it's so cold how they got him. That little boy don't know what's going on. They talk about you're facing first degree attempted murder. They gonna bandage her little ass up and put her in front of the judge too. And that's a little monster. You gotta be a little monster to put, to be shooting. I mean, come on, you had kids take guns and shoot at kids and whatnot. But I think this is the first time I've ever heard. They making jokes about it and little catchy titles with the different newspaper publications that wrote about it. The Bonnie and Clyde, the children Bonnie and Clyde, like all this old little stupid shit. Trying to make light of the situation. Well, not making light of it, but just trying to be creative and clever with the wordage or the verbiage. Not knowing that, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another, they shall not regard. I'm going to bring that back. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Those little children try to take the course of their actions in their own power. look what happened. You know what I mean? Like, and you're gonna see more of that. Like I said, just like I did a video prior to this one in regards to just within the last 12 to 24 hours, you had like 17 people get shot in my city. So yeah, wait till you see cities like Chicago, LA, you know what I mean, New Jersey, New York. Wait till the violence, and then they probably not even really reporting it. You know, nationally, they probably just reporting violence. Like I'm sure the article I just did wasn't reported like nationally like that. It may have been because Newsbreak tends to have multiple different publications speaking on the same story, but for the most part, like that was a local story. Like that's talking about, maybe it's another publication that follows like violence or the trends of violence that's going on. So, but for the most part, that's local. So, yeah, I'm gonna end the lesson there. Like I said again, showing you how violence is about to kick up. It's a spirit of violence out here, a spirit of vengeance. A spirit of judgment. I just did a video about 17 people getting judged, and now you got these two kids. The Lord put a spirit on them to actually buck up against the authorities. You know what I mean? And the amazing part is she lived, because when you see the video that I played, they was busting her or trying to bust her. That was all the will of Yahweh Shem Yahshua as well. It tells you in the scriptures, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. He preserved who he want to preserve to judgment or salvation. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Central Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, to the statutes, and to the commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, or be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to call lawyer, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachag on this book of thumb. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Aqua, to the Akim out there listening to Lardy. Lord willing, this is an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations. Subscribe to the truth to you. I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Mawafla babal. Shalom.